Many more boys had to die because of you.
I was in L.A. before I came here. I said, "Oh, I'm doing this play about the no-no thing," and this Japanese gentleman, he's about in his 80s. He just, oh, yeah. He's American, went to Cal and all that, but he emotionally just didn't want to talk about it. Yeah, it still hits people in the guts.
The backdrop for After the War is 1948 Japantown, when the jazz scene was booming.
And along with it came this flourishing cultural scene. Jazz musicians, Count Basie, Duke Ellington, and my wife's aunt recalls Billie Holiday walking into one of her shops. And so I thought, this is an interesting kind of thing that's going on in Japantown.
Philip created the character Chet as a Nisei jazz musician. He knew he needed a sense for how second-generation Japanese Americans played a role in jazz. He went straight to the source. He sat down with author and jazz enthusiast George Yoshida.
George is a longtime Bay Area resident, and he had written this book about Nisei jazz musicians. And George is a very in-the-moment, cool cat. From that era, he's an embodiment of it,
Oh man, Duke, nice mustache and all that stuff. At a certain chord of some sort, they know where their tune is going. It's going, bam, A-Train, oh man.
So talking to George was a way to make the world real and palpable, which for a writer is really, really important.
George's love for music never failed him, especially when he and his family were sent to internment camps during World War II.
The expression was only what we could carry to the camps. We were limited in terms of what we could take, of course, but I took my phonograph record case holding 50 78 RPM records. Tommy Dorsey, Count Basie, Duke Ellington, Glenn Miller, heavy. And my sister said, "George, what are you taking that to for? You can't take records." "No, I'm not going to leave them." "Oh, well, I'm going to. I'm not going to leave them here." So I took those records, and I still have them.
This is amazing. This is Lionel Hampton, right? I drew from a lot of various people to create my character Chet. Paul Higaki is a very cool-looking guy. He's got dark sunglasses on, his hair is slicked. But what made Paul Higaki interesting is that he recorded with Lionel Hampton, and he was also a featured artist with him. The interesting thing about Lionel Hampton, too, is he played in the first integrated jazz group. But prior to that, all the groups were either black or white, and so Lionel Hampton was part of this kind of new lineage, and in turn, my character Chet, as Paul Higaki did, played with Lionel Hampton.
How'd you know?
Everybody in Japanese town knew. A Japanese in Lionel Hampton's band.
When I started out, you couldn't play with the white groups. Colored musicians took me in. One line I don't understand is when she says, no one will do business with you.
In the creation of a new play, workshops and rehearsals are essential for Philip, who relies upon the actors to help him to understand his characters.
I love working with actors, because actors can tell you so much about the material.
I think that's part of my job, especially in an original play, to give as much input of who this character is. Then he says, "I'm trying to say something, the Constitution." So he is saying, trying to, so why is he avoiding? So thanks to the email now, I just email him. Before I had to call him or wait for the next rehearsal.
Saab's an actor I've worked with for many, many years, and he's also a wonderful singer. He'll come across a line and say, "I don't think my character would say that, Philip. This rings false. I don't know how I'm supposed to get from this point to that point in terms of my language and logic."
That seemed, well, he left and it's sort of like, why go on? I don't know. He really asks you, how would you say it? Or what's amiss here? And you would explain it in your pedestrian way, and he comes up with this miracle of, oh, yeah. He crystallizes your thoughts, but he listens to you, and he takes it in. He's not defensive about his piece.
What do you think your response might be then?